Give him the axe. Nothing to it, you know, you just kind of hustle. Chop, chop, chop.
So it's tarweed.
Well, these tar weeds, they're something. They got tar on them.
Yeah, I know. They grabbed me as I came up the hill.
I know, you walk through them and you get home and your pants cuffs are all brown.
Yeah.
Sticky.
So, Dan, why are you doing this?
We're doing this to get the grass back from the edge of the trail so when people walk by in the wintertime they don't get wet. And to clean out the drains so the water runs off the trail instead of down the trail, causing severe erosion. And we're doing this because we're crazy, I guess. Because we need the exercise.
Why do you choose this time of year?
This time of year, well, we're trying to get it done before the rain starts. It's actually better to chop the grass while the soil is dry.
I would think it would be easier if the soil were soft.
It would be easier to do some things if you were actually digging in the trail, but just chopping the grass, it's better. And the other thing is, if you're digging rocks out of the trail, which we have done some, the rocks come out easier when the soil is dry.
Oh.
But when the soil is wet, it swells up, holding the rock tighter.
Even though it's mushier.
Yeah, it's mushy, but it's harder to get the rocks out.
Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, that's very technical.
Yeah.
But engineering 101. So first we clear off the bottom edge, then we go clear off the ditch side, rake it all over.
And you,
That's about all there is to it.
you just put it to the side. You don't take it away.
No, it's good organic mulch. So then we have to come along and dig this stuff off of the edge. Ideally, the trail should be shaped like a roof so it sheds the water out. But of course, with the traffic, it always works down into a kind of a U. And the water just runs down the trail. That's why we have so many of these side drains.
So how long have you been doing this kind of work?
I have been doing this since this trail was built in, what, 1990 or whenever it was. I don't remember.
And before that?
Before that, let's see, I retired in 1990. Before that, I was doing some weekend or some weekend work for the open space people. Not here because this trail wasn't here.
Right. So this is through the Marin County Open Space.
Marin County Open Space District.
Yay.
And this trail was built, I think, around 1990.
Uh-huh.
And, well, you were involved. We had a committee down there.
Right.
And went to the school districts, and they said it's okay to go along the edge. And then we went down to the city council, and they said it was okay. And the open space people said if they think it's okay, well, we want to build a trail up here because we want people to come and use the open space. So that's what they did, and since that time, lots of people are using it.
That's for sure. But what you're doing is volunteer work, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You and George out here in the...
Oh yeah, it's good exercise. It's a good chance to contribute a little bit to the good of the order. We
Well,
get some attaboys from the people that come by. If you were here earlier, you would have seen, I don't know, 12 or so little school kids
Oh.
walking to the Sun Valley School from people who live up on the ridge.
Oh, perfect.
They use this trail to go to school.
How great.
And
Oh.
even one kindergarten mom took her kindergartner down there, and she came puffing back up the trail later, all red in the face. So it's good for her too.
It's good. Oh, that's great.
The trail gets lots of use,
I've noticed that.
as you well know.
Yeah.
See lots of dogs, and lots of people having a good time.
Yeah. And it connects with the trail coming up from the cemetery. So you've got a circle. Real nice.
Yeah, it's just part of the network.
Yeah.
And you can come up this trail and then go out along the ridge if you want, or you just go down the cemetery road through the cemetery and make a loop. And then a lot of people come up from San Anselmo, come up the Sorich Trail and hooks into the cemetery road and comes up to the top of the ridge. So it's good to have in your backyard.
Boy, I'll say. Hard work, George?
It's hard work. Good exercise.
How often do you come out?
Oh, about 3 times a week.
For how long?
2 hours. 2-hour stretch. And this is tarweed. And it sticks to you. And this is a gully right here. It's opening up.
Ask you some questions so I can rest, Dale.
What kind of tool is that, George?
This is McLeod. This end for cutting, and this end for raking. And it's a great tool. A McLeod is named after a ranger at some point in the history, but it's a really tremendous instrument. As long as this blade is sharp, it cuts through the grass. And this is a nice time of year because the ground is hard, grass is dry, so this edge cuts right through. Yeah, the blade has to be kept sharp so you can work with it. It cuts through, otherwise you're just whacking away, and it's like a baseball bat. You're not going to cut through much. But if this is sharp, it looks good.
How do you sharpen it?
With a file.
You sharpen it with
place and just bring it to a sharp edge.
Uh-huh.
And hitting the rocks and things dulls it out. So
Uh-huh.
you have to sharpen it off.
This tool I'm using now is called a Pulaski. It's named after, invented by a Forest Service ranger named Edward Pulaski, who was a forest ranger in 1910 in Idaho, famous firefighter. But it's a firefighting tool. It has the axe blade for chopping, which we don't need here because there's nothing to chop. This is the digging end. So it gives you some flexibility when you're building a fire line. You can either chop wood or chop brush, or you can dig dirt. And we use it along here to dig rocks out of the trail. Or right now I'm using it to dig out some of the weeds that are growing among the rocks that are hard to get with the McLeod tool without damaging the edge, so we use this.
Ah.
So that's the Pulaski. It's a firefighting tool, same as the McLeod.
And it gives you a finer edge to work with.
Well, it's a tougher edge.
Tougher.
You can break rocks with this,
Ah.
whereas if you hit a rock with the McLeod, it really makes a big ding in the honed edge.
Oh, I see.
So
Thank you.
that's the Pulaski.
All right.
When we get up there where George is,
Oh, okay.
up to his knees in the tarweed here. And these are, I'm not sure whether they're native or non-native, but they grow well here. And they're very drought resistant. And they start flourishing when everything else dries up. And they grow pretty tall, this year at least. And they're very sticky. That's why they call them tarweed. grab a hold of that with your hand, well, you end up with tar on your hand, and you end up with tar on your pants and shoes. And on your tool handle, you can see it right here on George's McLeod. See how dark that is?
Oh yeah,
That's from the tar weed.
yeah.
But it's kind of a nuisance because it comes in here and hangs over the edge of the trail like this. And when people walk by, well, it gets on them. Plus they can't see the trail.
Uh-huh.
So we're trying to move that off, but it'll be back next year.
What other wildflowers are in this on this hill?
Oh, that's oodles of wildflowers. There's
How
wild
about-
iris, and there's mule's ears, and there's bachelor buttons, and
Lupin?
oh yeah, lots of lupin.
How about buckwheat?
Yeah, buckwheat. There's a colony of buckwheat down there by the first switchback,
And soaproot?
and lots of
Lots
soap.
of soap.
Lots of soap plants. That's the. Let's see one right now. I guess we chopped them all down. But they'll be up next year because they come from a bulb.
So what you're doing is just clearing it. So
Yeah, we just take the top off. And this is kind of interesting. This is native bunch grass. And it's actually it's California state grass.
Huh.
It's called purple needle grass. It's a perennial grass, comes up from the roots every year, and it's a beautiful grass that is competing very well with all this non-native stuff. The only thing about it, when it grows along the edge of the trail, it's very difficult to dig out because the roots are so big.
oh. Do you try to dig out the roots, or do you just try
Well, along the edge of the trail we do.
to? Uh-huh.
We want to encourage this to grow. We want it to crowd out the non-natives, which it may do eventually.
Oh, good.
So that's California state grass,
What's it called again?
purple needle grass.
Purple needlegrass. All right.
Yeah, we've been looking at this patch, itching to get at it, so I guess today's the day, huh? All right. I'm going down and finish up this other one.
Why do you do this, George?
Well, it's great exercise, and this is a task that needs to be done. It's a wonderful trail, so anything I can do to keep it in shape is a good idea as far as I'm concerned.